CIMAP Lucknow and also the member of International Council for Science Scientific Committee UXW. Professor Singh is Vice President of International Geographical Union since 2012. He has been awarded JSPS Research Fellowship for presenting papers and chairing sessions in more than 40 countries. He is expert in the prestigious Committee of Government of India, Ministry of Environment and Forest, Department of Science and Technology, National Disaster Management. I take this great honor to invite him upon the stage to share with us with his valuable knowledge. Dr. R.P. Singh.
For giving me opportunity to share my thoughts related to SDG-6. You know, on 25th September 2015, United Nations General Assembly passed resolution for 17 goals, and India is also the party of that. And largely we heard a very excellent lecture by our colleague from Sri Lanka on wastewater management system modeling. I would like to focus on the totally water resource management in our country. First, I would like to bring before you the background. And you can see this first one, this SDG, addresses the water security, which aims to ensure the water and sanitation for all. The National Rural Drinking Water Program and Accelerated Urban Water Supply Program, largely for universal and equitable access to safe and affordable drinking water for all by 2030. Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, that is another important, and it is accelerating the process of ensuring access to sanitation facility and safe and adequate water supply to every person. And I would like to also bring before you the Sendai framework of the disaster risk reduction. On March 2015, before the SDG, the Sendai city, the United Nations passed a very important resolution for disaster risk reduction. So now we are focusing more on the disaster risk reduction, not much on the relief and structure. So I would like to bring before you also the type of resilience measures we can take, particularly for water-induced disaster risk reduction. I am very happy that Dr. Ajay Singh ji also published this very important document. Just end of November, it was released at the Science Council of Japan. This 4-page document, I would like to recommend you that you see published in this souvenir volume, at the end of the souvenir volume. And we tried our best to identify one of the important interactive areas relating to this, the food, water, health, energy linkages. Because I would like to highlight how the multifunctional aspects can be highlighted, particularly for the water management in our country. If you see this, the state of water use, we have major, minor, small river basin, and it is very important, but I would like to bring before you few questions always resound in my mind. What is happening to poverty? What is happening to unemployment? Or what is happening to inequality and disparities? If these all are declining at the highest level, we can say that is the sustainable period for any region or any country. And I would like to tell you that one can see a very close relationship between water availability and also the poverty alleviation. A very close relationship between that. There are several legs supporting our economy, particularly the need of the human settlement, but contamination already, we heard what our colleague from, and in this context, the water security has emerged as India's greatest challenge with high production in agriculture, population growth, industry and energy. Interstate dispute, this is another important factor, and so particularly this also asks for utilizing the river water in a very judicial manner. Next one. You can see this the major river basin. Next one. And here I would like to how these people are using, for the tourism and variety of usage in the Brahmaputra. But in this process, if you ask me to identify northeast, two very important drivers, and these all are related also with the water. Road construction and the hydel projects. These are the two very important in this northeast region, bringing a lot of the challenges to the environmental problem in the northeast. And so it requires also the lot of, looking this the land use, because I do feel that land use is not just a synthesis of a physical, chemical or biological processes, but human responses, societal responses, how people are responding to different type of the changes happening at the global to the local scale. Next one. See the cultural and spiritual significance of the Indian rivers. Next. So, drinking water scenarios. You can see we used to get almost the highest per unit availability of water. If you can see largely we have the northeastern side more than 5,000 and in some places the 8,000 millimeter rainfall in that. But more than 150 or 200 maybe districts are classified as a drought districts. So we have very complex situation, complex nature of water management in our country. 68% of the total area, what I would like to say that the dry areas, where precipitation is less than potentially evapotranspiration. And we need to develop a different type of strategy for that. Per capita availability, I would like to bring before you, it is this much, and these are the, during the monsoon period, billion cubic meter, average precipitation. Next one. So, what are the main sources of drinking water? Largely you can see this tap water, and you can understand your own perception, the type of problem we are getting due to the different type of urban development. Present century, maybe I would like to say that is the Asian urban century. People are rushing to the big cities, mega cities for different, income, employment, better services, and lot of problem relating to that, and wastewater management is a very important. We heard about this, how we can use this wastewater reuse. We are using particularly in Ukla area in Delhi. And most of the time we have the partial treatment of the water. I would like to tell you this, I am also the chairing the research council of one of the CSIR laboratory, that is CFTRI at Mysore. And we are trying to see this like a fruit cultivation. I collaborated with the Environmental Science Department of the IRI, and we found that on okra, that spinach, all the very high metal concentration, when you just pass through this Jamuna after this ITO bridge. ITO bridge, if you go passing 5 kilometers south and 5 kilometers north, we have a lot of the vegetable cultivation, industrial activities and all. And then people are using this, the all waste water even for cleaning this. So food safety issue is very important, and we have to see this, the different type of the interlinkages. Next one. So 80% you can see on the surface water, 60% coming from the groundwater, particularly in the agriculture sector. So main user in the agriculture sector. And so food security continues to be the very important agenda for us. More than 8% fresh water and 10% of the groundwater used for the industrial sector. So it still will less. Water demand of both sectors will go high in coming futures due to the rapid urbanization and industrial development. Third major demand of water of the agricultural industry is domestic purpose, and here I think this again this health is a very important. And International Council of Science recently started a very important initiative, health and well-being in changing urban environment. And where this the water security is very important agenda. Next one. If you look the vulnerability, 70% land cultivation prone to drought. So see that scarcity. 5% land almost the flood, and flooding is an annual ordeal in northern India. 8% cyclone, and here also the lot of flooding. Most of the lakes and cultivated rivers are polluted. Our rivers are, largely people are using for the drinking purpose, bathing purpose. And uncertainty and erratic behavior of monsoon, this one is another important challenge. Next one. And so you can see this the future demand, projected demand and supply of water, continuously increasing, and particularly I would like to tell you that the industrial sector will have the more in the future. Then also the environmental flow will have some. Next one. And so you can see here, most of the only secure water, maybe northeastern region and some part, maybe little bit surplus here, but the most of India, all dry. 68% of the total our geographical area may be considered as the dry lands, rain-fed cultivation, and we have the lot of the shortage of water. Next one. You see the per capita water availability, how declining. 1991 to 2050, going per capita availability of water, 1822, cubic meter to 2001 to 1545 in 2011, and assume that will further 1341 in 2025. So you can understand from your own perception, here we have the water stress, water is scarce, and 70% of the global area, including large parts of India, will become the water stress by 2025. So this requires a careful geographical, economic, social, and a comprehensive inquiry and integrated water, developing an integrated water management system. Here is the carrying capacity, occupying 4% of the water resources, 2.4% of the land, and 17% of people in the world in this whole. And so this imbalance further resulted in the crisis in securing the water for the people. 1/3 of India's districts are affected by severe drought, almost 330 million people. 1,000 villages in 8 districts of Gujarat are suffering. These are some of the important highlights of the last few years. Every 90 seconds, one person kills due to the lack of water. Even the farmer society very much related with also the water availability. In India, despite of considerable progress, a large number of people are found without having access to drinking water. Almost this much people. Next one. So recently, ICMR very important document came giving this statewide data about the different type of diseases also, and non-communicable diseases. We have a lot of increase of the non-communicable diseases, and many things are related with the water related availability. Gujarat, Karnataka, these are some of the important, you can see this the hot spots. Next one. You see the water crisis. Lot of people, still, rural Delhi. They need the water from the tanker. Next one. Latur, Marathwada, Bundelkhand, these are the hot spots. 4 major rivers had dried up. Simla. So it is not only in one part, but the area. We have a very complex, what I would like to bring, complex of, syndrome of water poverty, I would like to use the word. We have in our country. It is not like the North India or the South India or the East India or the India. Every region has a pocket of poverty considering the water and pocket of prosperity. Next. So what are the important? Deforestation continues to be the very important threat. Poor water quality, pollution, greenhouse gases, less snowfall and more glacier retreat, wasteful use of water. Next. These are the other, this is unsafe and unclean drinking water coming from the pollution, solid waste, water, air. Climate change is another important area. Large population demand for more supply, mismanagement of resources, and so that is why over exploitation, and so water stress and increase in the accessibility of the unclean drinking water. Next one. And so impact on health, very important. You can see this, the physical health. So physical, mental and social, we have to see this all aspects. Physical, mental and social aspects, in a system approach. And particularly this department can very well equipped to contribute towards the system approach, looking the all different type of data. Economic, less efficient, less productive, less enthusiastic, less support to economy. Psychological and social effects, depressment, imbalance, less IQ, variety of this complicated, complex system, economic, physical, mentally and socially, big citizen, big barrier. Next. And this is the one I would like to put before you. I involved this one student on the working on the Kolkata. So the dispensary level data we try to collect, and you can see this different area, how different type of the problems are emerging in different part of the city. One can see a very close relationship between this, the water availability, water use, the type of nature of water use. Next one. Wastage of pipe supply water, a great concern of the drinking water availability. Next one, all well, Jamuna water quality. Jamuna provide the, this a lot of, water need to the Delhi, and you can see about 2,000 million liters of sewage is pumped into the river almost every day. 70% pollution is due to the untreated water. We have maybe partial treatment. Treatment plants are not working efficiently. Another factors, industrial sources, agriculture. Another very important area I would like to bring before you, this is the climate change. And before monsoon and after monsoon, you can find a changes in the quality of Jamuna water, and this requires also the very careful inquiry. Next one. You can see this, the idle and related immersion. Next. Sources of pollutants. Next. See this, the how livestock rearing and washing. Next. These are the different sources of pollutant. Next. So we also try to analyze this water quality index. Here when Jamuna entered to Delhi, and now how increase this, totally decrease the quality of the water, one can see from the this, because different sewerage and all waste coming to the river. So we have to develop a different, and Swachh Bharat Abhiyan and other, Swachh Bharat course can play a very important role, particularly in these countries, because it is not only for the sanitation, but sanitation and water availability and the water quality must go hand in hand. Next one. A spray of insecticide, you can see this in the catchment of the Jamuna area. Next one. So, washing, the utensil, open drainage, solid waste. Next one. These are rag pickers. You can see this, the Okla site. Here also we have the wastewater reuse facility also there. Next. So, this one I would like to bring before you, this United Nations General Assembly and this IAP network of Science Academy. 4 important things they identify. We have to understand the risk, strengthening disaster risk governance to manage disaster, investing in disaster and enhancing disaster preparedness for effective response, very quick response, local based technology and the knowledge, so that people can use very easily. That is need of the hour. Next one. And this one I am telling about this, the document, very important document. Already Dr. Singh included in the your abstract Bhalu, and I would like to recommend you that you read. Here we try to argue that we need to develop the local and community usable, this the different type of the water treatment technology, or the disaster management technology, or risk assessment technology, resilience building process, so that we can have this should become the mass movement. Next one. And here I would like to identify the three very key words: exposure, vulnerability, and risk. And I would like to quote from the Sendai frameworks of DRR. I quote, "Policy and practices for disaster risk management should be based on an understanding of disaster risk in all its dimension of vulnerability, capacity, exposure of person and assets. Largely we ignore these hazard characteristics and the environment. Such knowledge can be leveraged for the purpose of risk assessment, pre-disaster risk assessment." Next one. See this, and there are some other issues related to what happened during the Kosi. You can see the small, damage in the dike, how this problem became so acute and so big, And you can see this also, one can see a very highland lowland interactive system. Instability in the upper reaches is bringing also a instability in the low-lying area, particularly in Indus, Ganga and Brahmaputra. Because this one can see a very upstream downstream relationship, highland and lowland relationship. Such highland and lowland relationship also can be mitigated. Even the scheme already initiated during the Vajpayee time about linkages and all, and with some modification, I think I will come at the end of that. Next one. So we are trying to map the different type of this is a zone area, Karamnasa area, mapping the flood. This is a rice ball. It is called the rice ball of the Bihar, and so that is why we did some activity, how this the integrated water and integrated flood and drought management practices can be, implemented simultaneously. This is a very good example, and we suggested to this also the Son-Karamnasa area. Next one. Here, is the flood zoning helps in efficient management of recurring flood using the remote sensing and geographic information system, bringing the sensors and different type of statistical data. We are trying to suggest that how flood monitoring can be done, using geospatial technology, and also such type of the map can be helpful for the relief operation or different type of a scheme to be implemented. Next. Here you see in Brahmaputra Valley, we tried to collect a lot of the information. It's 98, 2002, 2012, different time period, and we tried to have the different type of vulnerable issues, like one time entire crop loss, 3 times entire standing crop loss of stored seeds, seed bed erosion, sand deposition. These are the questions we ask from the people, from the community. So we tried our best to provide a good, input to the policy maker based on the people's responses, community responses, how people are feeling about the different type of the problem. So we almost more than 80 indicators we have done and analyzed the data. You can see this the type of adaptation and in this flood prone area in Brahmaputra basin. Next one. So vulnerability and risk assessment through integrated and comprehensive assessment. Next one. Here we did for by Rajasthan. Taking into consideration of the monsoon rainfall variability, annual rainfall variability, land use, soil fertility, land capability, slope, surface water, groundwater, irrigation. So these are all biophysical factors. Then we identified the human driving process, social driving process, and then we combined together for the, preparing a very important, next one, you can see this type of the biophysical vulnerability map. Vulnerability is a very important step for understanding the exposure and also ultimately gaining for risk, how we can reduce the risk. So this type of data, this is the one example of biophysical vulnerability, but we also try to look the human, social and other factors we have taken into consideration. Next one. This one is for the Uttarkasi area. Landslides, flooding, and then the avalanches. All we first separately we prepare the geospatial using this geospatial technology, particularly the ADAS, the different type of the critical areas, and then we combine together. Next one. Here you can see during the falling, using this we try to prepare this rainfall anomaly. So looking this how this the impact of the falling cyclone in the different area. Such type of the maps can be very useful for the planners and decision. There exists a big gap between academic community and policy maker, and we are trying to bridge such type of the gap between academic community and policy makers by preparing this type of the maps, intensity map, magnitude map, that is the literacy, level of awareness, all can be done, superimposed, and it is possible. And so that is why you can see during the falling, the casualty was hardly less than 20, but same magnitude 20 years back, probably 20,000, 30,000 people died. So human geoscience approach is a very need of the hour. Geoscience and the human science must work together in this country. Next one. So, sustainable water management, particularly this rainwater harvesting, is a very desalinization, awareness generation, then water use efficiency is a very important, and regulatory norms. Next one. I would like to put before you some of the important initiatives taken at the government level. You can see 1949, not much. Environmental Hygiene Committee, recommended the provision of safe water supply, but 50. Constitution of India certified water as a state subject. 69 National Drinking Water Program came into existence under the support of UNICEF. 86 National Drinking Water Mission. 87 the first National Water Policy drafted, water resource giving first priority for drinking water. Next one. 1994 73rd Constitutional Amendment makes provision of assigning the responsibility for providing drinking water to the Panchayati Raj institution, again for decentralizing this power. 1999 formation of separate Department of Drinking Water Supply under the Ministry of Rural Development. 2005 Government of India launched the Bharat Nirman, which emphasized the providing drinking water within a period of 5 years. 2011 Department of Drinking Water and Sanitation upgraded 12 5-year plan focusing on pipe water supply with 5% fund for the coverage of the quality. 13 launching of a special program, and 14 particularly new technology for drinking water. Next one, most recent one program, particularly this the Swachh Bharat mission, Swachh Bharat course, Ganga Action, National Waterway Development Program. These are some of the important initiatives taken. Here, particularly personal and household level and the community level. I think this the combination very much needed. Allocation of work very important. Next one. And so policy issue related to hydrology, economic issue, health, ecosystem issue, health of the ecosystem, health of the environment, and health of the regional economy. So economy, ecosystem, and environment must go hand in hand, collaborating, and ultimately this can be under this under the maybe this your department. It's a very important combination. Next one. I would like to give you this example, very successful. This the Sabarmati riverfront management You can find a lot of changes in the quality of the water. Very successful management program, this one. Next one. Benefit, lot of benefit. Water retained in the river, interceptor, different type of embankment where there both sides, even tourism where developed pedestrians close to the water and walkway. I think along Jamuna also we have developed something. Next one. Here I would like to bring before you a very important Han River basin of Korea. I think Misra ji is also here from Korean department. I think it is very good example. How the regional development, the river and regional development can be achieved in the Han River basin, making river, eco rivers, eco belts and waterfront areas have been developed. Next one. You can see this restoring the river with the cultural themes, creating the beautiful river village surrounding to that area. Next one. I would like to tell you this is not a bad idea. And recent initiative taken by the few states, inter-states, particularly the Uttar Pradesh and Madhya Pradesh. Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan, they have started working on that. Why not we can start from our own one state? Every state has a surplus area, deficit area. First maybe from our one state, then one state to another state, and then we can move towards the broader interlinking of rivers. That maybe, can bring a lot of water security in our country. Next one. So, systematic management of quality point of view, systematic management polluted area already highlighted by our colleague, environmental facility, reduce the non-point polluters. Next one. Different type of the suggestion here I would like to, particularly in case of Jamuna, we have prepared non-point pollution, minimum flow required, reservoir. This one is very, very important, and minimum flow is also for the waterway program, optimum application of fertilizers, still operating in the bank of rivers in the different type of treatment, special areas where acid and garlands can be, processed, idle immersion related, and construction of any farm along the river bed should not be there. Next one. So I would like to take you example of Professor Babel is here, and from Rajasthan you can find how they have done this Tarun Bharat Sun. We have several type of the community level water user association. Sukhmajiri, Rajasthan Tarun Bharat Sun, Maharashtra Pani Panchayat, Gujarat Irrigation Cooperative. Such projects combining water science and ethics are able to remove poverty in different parts of the country. Next one. You can see this Johats near village Gopalpura in Rajasthan. They brought a lot of prosperity. 70-80% were not cultivated that time earlier. Now almost the 70% all cultivated. Next one. Next one. Is a lot of prosperity, not only getting the drinking water, but also the productivity. So, water security in India, some suggestion, reducing the dependency on erratic and uncertain monsoon, and this is possible due to the integrated management. Micro irrigation, agricultural products, industrial solution is also very, very important, and innovative solution, what I mentioned by our colleague also, underground water. Next, water conservation related, water sustainability related, like afforestation, restore the natural water storage, promote the organic farming, creating the awareness. Next one, application of nanotechnology. It's a very important area, emerging area. This, safe drinking water, or this company, once I visited, very efficient treatment, and they have also in India lot of. Terry also done some, in ONGC area, some type of the recycling and efficient treatment, So use of the nanotechnology can be a very, very important toxic organic solution, can convert it into these non-toxic bioproducts through nanocatalytes and reduce these active nanoparticles. Next one. Finally, I would like to conclude that situation of water resource degradation is complex in India. There are huge potential for water resources in India which is facing the challenges in the form of conflict arising out of poverty, population growth and careless application of technology. Development should be implemented but not at the cost of degradation of water. Development of modern data gathering technique and space-assisted decision support system will contribute for achieving water resource sustainability. Need to develop partnership between government, private and civil sector. Improving water governance will ensure conflict resolution and supply of water to every people for remove poverty, provide green cover over degraded area. Good water governance is key to solve problems of employment, economic, export, equity and environment. Thank you. Next one. And this one, the last one, my private, I am developing this, the Museum of Geographical Heritage in rural Delhi. I am inviting you all for supporting this, and if you have any water related, traditional, any heritage, you donate to my museum. Thank you very much.
Implementation of Swachh Bharat regarding the construction of lavatory, or you can say the toilets in the villages. The status of the toilets and the lavatory that is made there, if you visit personally, I think it is in the future going to create the risk of use of water for the drinking purposes. Because the quality of that construction, if you look at, that is going to leach down all the contaminants regarding the pathogens also. Because the quality of lavatory that are not up to the mark. Whatever the technology we are going to use, are going to propose that are not being employed in construction of such toilets. So, do you think they are going to create some problem in the future?
Every activity or development action will have some impact. But we have to see the cost benefit, input output, and impact assessment point of view. EIA point of view we have to see. If you see, we will have a lot of awareness, lot of change in the mentality of the people, and they are trying to bring this, what you are mentioning, the important point. And so I think the government will refine, regulate, in future. But so far what I do feel for sanitation is dignity. Water is life, but sanitation is dignity. And this both must go hand in hand. So whatever the point you mentioned, I do agree with you. These are some of the important points. This requires the careful also this health related inquiry and examination and updating and improving the program. But you see this we have a lot of change due to this. Change at a various level. This is bringing awareness, people participating. What I would like to say, this is the program where people are not participating, government is participating. They are bringing a site for the Swachh Bharat, and the government is coming up, So the government is participating in the program on the site identified by the local people.
But sir, exactly it is not implemented like that. Yes, I have yes, I have.
It happens and we have a problem. But we can't stop this. We have to move further. I remember a saying, I would like to quote here, what people say,
I am hungry and you form a committee to investigate my hunger. I am homeless and you find a report on my plight. I am sick. You held a seminar on situation of my underprivilege. You investigated all aspects of my plight and still I am still hungry, homeless and sick. You know, we have to remove the frustration of the masses. This may be the one important step, you know, otherwise whole India we are considering as a climate. You know, everywhere. Now we have culture of, you know, many states and the city are, you know, competing for each other for the bringing the better result. I think we will have, you know, 100% maybe in the future. We should be optimistic about this such type of the program. And awareness building is very, very important. We all have to contribute. Government will not, you know, only can support and maybe government can initiate, but we all have to contribute for that. राम हरि सिंह दिनकर जी की एक कविता याद आ गई। माँ का आंचल है फटा हुआ, इन दो टुकड़ों को सीना है, देखे देता कौन रहो दे सकता कौन पसीना। तो जो खून देवे वाला खून देवे और पसीना भी जरूरी है, समझे?
Thank you very much, sir, and also I hope that you will also happy with this line. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your insightful knowledge. I request Professor H.K. Singh, sir, to present a memento to Professor R.V. Singh.
Now moving on to the next session, I'd like to invite the chairman, Engineer A.C.M. Dulchikar,